I don't feel like Chrono Trigger needs any sort of introduction. This game is as etched into the DNA of the internet as Final Fantasy VII. It's the original hidden gem and chosen son of the generation of gamers who hit the internet in the late 90s. Appearing in countless top 10 lists of greatest games of all time, Chrono surpassing even Mario himself in popular online communities during his heyday, and being immortalized with one of gaming's great soundtracks. Chrono Trigger has been a hallmark of excellence in the gaming industry for decades. So here's a contrary opinion for you. Chrono Trigger's a great game, but a shoddy RPG. Now, when I say it's shoddy, I don't mean that it's non-functional. Chrono Trigger flows incredibly well, but the conceit of Chrono Trigger is ultimately a mindless progression. You go to a new time period, hey cool, let's beat up some dinosaurs or robots or whatever. Go through a relatively dull dungeon area, get a new party member who is supremely good at beating up everyone around them. Fight a boss with a gimmick that, hey, your new party member is really good at exploiting. Rinse repeat, except for that time you fall off of zeal. Fight a giant flea, save the world. Now that is drastically simplifying the game for the sake of time, but from non-random encounters to boss weaknesses, Chrono Trigger is a game that carefully studies the player's path and pushes them along in a straight line until they find themselves confident enough to fight Lavos. Choice and variability in strategy is rare in Chrono Trigger until endgame, and that's not because there's a best party. It's that the game pushes a clear star party member in every dungeon who will make mincemeat out of your enemies. It's a mindlessly fun game that uses a complex time travel plot to disguise itself as an intelligent epic that, despite everything I just said, has one of the most mechanically intelligent and triumphant boss battles of all time. For the entire game, the Fiend Lord Magus... Magus? is built as a tremendously powerful foe, worshipped by minions, requiring a legendary sword to even open the path to his lair, leaving a mark on history still felt in Chrono's time period, cursing your friend to an existence as a toad, and worst of all, allowing Ozzy to get himself in a pickle. Magus's presence is felt through the entirety of the game. When you reach him, he does not disappoint. Taunting Frog upon seeing the legendary sword Masamune, supposedly the only thing that can harm him, Magus turns his back as a haunting array of instruments creep in. The atmosphere around Magus is completely different to the bombastic and aggressive enemies fought before. He's cold, confident, calculating, and even dismissive of your ace in the hole. And when those horns kick in, Chrono Trigger's highest point and strongest battle begins. Magus has two main gimmicks, other than having the hilariously edgy amount of 6666 HP. High defenses and his magical barrier. After each attack, Magus will shift his barrier to one of the four elements in Chrono Trigger: lightning, water, fire, or shadow. This barrier will absorb all elements except for the one it's set to, forcing the player to change their main offensive threat on the fly. Magus's naturally high physical defense means attacking him with anything other than this weakness is either a fool's errand or a stall tactic, and he responds with punishing spells for mindless attacks. The player is at a constant tug-of-war with Magus, going on the offensive and defensive in real time to adapt. This is further emphasized by Chrono Trigger having a maximum party size of 3. As Magus has 4 elements, and each of Chrono Trigger's party members can only hit with a single one, there will always be a time where the player is at a disadvantage. there's always an opportunity for the player to have to heal up and play exceptionally defensively, or else take a bad hit from Magus. To compensate for this, the player has Frog in the Masamune. Frog's sword strikes pierce through Magus's barrier, not causing it to shift and lowering Magus's magical defenses for the next hit. This lets Frog be the ultimate team player, leaving an opening for his friends to deal massive damage to the Fiend Lord. And yet, Frog himself is still a double-edged sword. Frog's element is water, which is also the element held by Chrono's premier healer, Marley. These names. Choosing to bring Marl into battle means that Magus has two unchecked elements, meaning that choosing a team optimized for healing turns a battle of attrition even longer. And sure, Robo and Frog have their own healing, but a turn where Frog is healing is a turn where the Masamune buff isn't applied, and a turn where Robo is healing is one where you aren't punching a vampire with a super strong robot. And of course, if you think too long on what your next move will be, Magus is glad to swipe in and cut one of your allies with a scythe. Magus keeps the battle constantly moving, the player engaged for the entire duration, shifting tactics on the fly in more ways than one. Magus's final phase sees him drop the barrier as he risks casting a spell. Here, the player has to rush Magus quickly before he can unleash a devastating dark matter technique that can potentially rout them. Yet, it's very likely that the player will be able to just barely hang on, even if Magus swarms them with advanced darkness. Remember, Chrono Trigger has non-random encounters, so it's very easy for the designers to assume a player's level for every boss. Magus is built to be a huge escalation, a fight that a player will get through by the skin of their teeth, and one requiring their full attention to overcome. And 9 times out of 10, a player is going to get exactly what was intended, with their own personal touch due to Chrono Trigger's immaculate design. Magus isn't a traditionally hard boss, just as Chrono Trigger isn't a traditionally hard game, but he's one that every player can take satisfaction in overcoming, perhaps more deliberately than any other. Magus is a boss made to make the player feel great for winning. He is perfectly designed for triumph.